Quick question. How much is $33 million in rupees? Come on guys, we are B school. Sorry. Absolutely wrong. At 61, 62. That means the conversion rate rupees to dollar, 61.62 rupees per dollar. It comes to 203.3 crore. Okay, don't clap for it. So this much is the money which Alok has to spend, you know. So that's the real question, how he is going to spend it. So they have just now raised the, okay, so let me now introduce Alok also. So basically he is the CEO of Freecharge, the company which has raised $33 million in Series B. Before that they had 20 crore in Series A, backed by Sequoia Capital. But then this is not the only thing which goes for Alok. He has done many more things. Any guesses? Anybody wants to add what he has done before that? I think he has been a very... that's there you go. So he was the both Chief Product Officer. So believe that there is a value for being a product guy. So he was the Chief Product Officer and CEO at Redbus. Before that he was product manager. He has done a various product management role and he was head of research and mobile for Google. He has worked also as a computer scientist at Adobe and before that HCL. He's an alumni of ISB, Indian School of Business, done an MBA from there, and also the BTech from Delhi College of Engineering. So he's the man of the hour. Let me just invite him on the stage.
Is this fine? Can you hear me? So in terms of money, the very interesting fact at this point of time is that sort of money is raining all around. All you have to do is take your umbrella, put it upside down and collect as much money as you want to collect. And it's literally coming across like that. You would have been reading in media, people raising like $100 million, $200 million, $600 million, $1.7 billion. And we also raised some bit of money. So money is actually not a problem at this point of time, but what it requires to raise that money is sort of a good team. Pretty much idea and the company and all of these things are sort of a secondary matter, but pretty much the number one thing that is required to raise good amount of money is team. If people look pretty in the sense of their passion, in the sense of their commitment to work, then money will certainly come. So that is a story of $33 million. But nevertheless, guys, great to be here. I can connect to a lot of you guys here because I myself went to ISP after having 7 years of work experience, and huge respect to all of you guys for spending time here on weekends for grooming yourself in terms of intellectual capabilities and learning more and more new skills and capabilities. And I know how hard it is when your kids and spouses are at home and you are studying at the college. So I understand that trade-offs are made very well, but I'm sure this is going to pay off very well, and it's going to be a really rewarding experience for not only just you but your families also. So huge respect to all of you guys. But in terms of me talking for next 45 minutes, I generally as a principle don't use PowerPoints or slides, and we keep it more interactive. Guys, feel free to interrupt me and ask anything that comes to your mind. I'll probably talk for more like 15 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes or so, and then we'll give it more of an open discussion than anything else, because I think that'll sort of contribute more to the discussion than me giving a monologue or sort of a talk here. But just a brief sort of flow of career progression that I've had. I joined HCL straight out of college from Delhi College of Engineering way back in 1999. I worked there for about 4.5 years. Initially joined at the entry level as an engineer. Had a knack towards understanding how technology actually works. So I used to read like a lot of MSDN articles. I don't know how many of you know what MSDN is, which was like the biggest knowledge bank in the computer science at that time, in the lack of internet at that point of time. Used to read those articles randomly in the nights and weekends and those kind of things. So started building a sense of design and architecture and those kind of things. And then at some point of time, HCL decided to do a product way back in 2000 end of 2001, and I was chosen to be the architect of that product. So started working on a product in a services company, which is a phenomenally sort of a disconnected thing to do, because a services mindset and a services DNA for companies not conducive to building products. And that is something which we realized after working on it for about 1.5 years. The boss is not going to be anywhere. And at the same time, another realization that I and my manager together had was that service is going to be a commodity business pretty soon. This was way back in 2003 when I and my managers, I still remember that discussion, having a discussion that the way it looks like is that we are all working for product companies in US. And we are sort of creating a body shop machines where our value is getting created by how many people we are managing and how many people are working in our organizations than anything else. And hence this is not going to be a long-term sustainable model, because somebody else will come and do the work for a slightly $1 less and the price will keep going down. So it is not a great thing to do in a long-term basis. So I and my manager both decided to quit HCL together. And my manager went into analytics area and I went into Adobe, again in the computer science area. Kept working into Adobe and I worked there for about 2.5 years. Then I realized that hey, I've been doing engineering, got promoted there once from senior software engineer to computer scientist. Then I said, hey, if I keep working in Adobe, I'll keep becoming a better and better and better engineer. But I sort of started feeling like, what do you say, camped out, or sort of hitting the ceiling, or sort of feeling like not really growing, not really sort of doing anything new. So I said, okay, fine, chuck it. We'll do an MBA and then we'll go to the business side of the world, and that side seems like a really sexy side to be in, because we'll get to see the other side of the world, which is customer, making money, business, etc., etc. So then I left Adobe and went to ISB. There were several reasons why people told me it was a really, really stupid decision, because it costed like 16 lakh rupees to do that MBA at that point of time in like 2006. And I was talking to Pinkesh, let me talk about that number publicly. I was earning like about 20-25 lakh rupees per year at that point of time in Adobe. And people said like, are you mad? You are leaving your such a good paying salary job and joining MBA, so not only are you going to lose this much money which you would have earned otherwise, but you're also going to be spending 15 lakh more. And then what is it that you're going to get out of it? Just an MBA from ISB, in particular because the average outgoing salary of that year from ISB was about 15 lakh rupees. So you're going to be losing an opportunity of about whatever this sum total turns out to be, and you'll be making about 15 lakhs at the end of it. Is this really a good decision to do, especially when you've got a wife and you've got a kid? And a lot of people actually said it's really a stupid decision, the worst decision that you're taking. And said, okay, fine, now that I've taken a decision, let's move forward. So went to ISB, studied there for a year. In ISB itself, it was a phenomenal sort of thing. I don't know how many of you sort of have exposure to these B schools. Pretty much the day everybody enters into the B school, everyone thinks that I'm going to be the topper of this B school, because everyone has been a topper of their own class throughout the time. So everyone has that kind of confidence. Boss, I'm going to be the topper of this class in this MBA school. And with that means everyone has a dream of going into the consulting world. We'll go and be the McKinsey guy, we'll go and be the BCG guy, and that is sort of vision that people keep with them. And pretty much McKinsey BCG is the dream job in ISB, which shatters down for most of the people very, very soon, because they realize that out of 400 odd people, only 20 can be in the dean's list. Right? Not everybody can be in the dean's list. So there are a lot of dreams which I saw getting broken, shattered. But at the end, I was sort of not passionate towards that side. I said, hey, technology is my strength, and I want to be in that space. So I ended up fighting hard, very, very hard for getting into Google. It was incredibly tough and sort of huge. Lot of effort was put in to even get in front of the Google thing for getting into the interview stage, etc. Then got into the Google, the product management space. After I worked in Google for about 3 years in Bangalore. There was a lot of consolidation happening. Larry Page took over Google. He said, hey, we should consolidate everything and move everything to Mountain View. So a lot of areas were getting shut down in the Bangalore office of Google, and the decision was to either quit Google or to move to Mountain View. These were the only two options: either keep Google or keep Bangalore, not both. Was the sort of trade-off to be made. At that time, I got a phenomenal opportunity to work in ads area in Google Mountain View. So I said, "Okay, chalo, let's go on to Mountain View for a couple of years." Wanted to always live in India, but for a couple of years, it's okay to go and learn there in Mountain View. Went there, started working on ads, and after exactly 2 years, I decided to move back because any further time spent in US would mean that you become an American and it become increasingly difficult to come back to India. Came back and realized that there's an amazing amount of progress happening in the startup ecosystem in the country. Ended up joining Redbus, which was a phenomenal team. A very, very good product, a very, very genuine insight on a problem statement being solved for a consumer. Started working there, and again, sort of, product was with me, but then there was nobody else to do operations and those kind of things, so started helping out in those things also. So started going beyond the product area only and became the CEO also. And then Redbus got acquired, and it was a large setup, and there were many things happening. And one of the things that I decided was that, hey, let's move on from Redbus and do something in the startup world. So that's when FreeCharge happened, and for about the last 15-16 months, I've been with FreeCharge. But what I want to talk about are basically 3 things. So this is sort of a journey that I just want to share, and we'll come back to this at the latter part of my discussion, why I was talking about all of this journey. The 3 things that I wanted to talk about are what I think has been the product management role and how it has been growing in the last few years that I have been associated in the industry. Second thing that I'm going to talk about is the feeling of getting stuck, the feeling of hitting the ceiling. What does it really mean to me? You guys may disagree with that viewpoint, but I'm just going to share my own perspective. And third thing I'm going to be talking about is some bit of what is that one characteristic that I think is super crucial for the entrepreneurial spirit. And that spirit need not be just when you're doing a startup. That is a spirit which is sort of common across in your just lifestyle itself. I just took a few notes to sort of make sure I don't mess up big time. But in terms of the product management role, this is one of the roles which is an overloaded term. Different people define it in a different way. How do you guys see the product management role? Just sort of few people, if you guys can share, how do you define product management role in terms of few keywords? That would be really wonderful to kickstart the discussion.
Vision oriented. Vision oriented.
Vision oriented. There is a board. It's actually writing down. Any other keywords?
Voice of the customer. Product life cycle.
Product life cycle.
Ownership.
Providing the roadmap.
Roadmap, ownership.
Voice of the customer. Voice of the customer.
Customer voice.
Easy to use product.
Easy to use product. But that's not product manager, right? That is characteristic of product.
ROI.
ROI.
What does it take to make the product successful?
Whatever it takes to make product successful. I like that.
Also, incremental innovation.
But many people actually call product manager as a CEO also. So what is your perspective of the group on that part?
I would say mini CEO.
Mini CEO. But do you guys really believe that statement? How many of you guys are product managers? Four of you guys are product managers. How many of you believe that you're mini CEOs?
I think it's pretty much truth because you are completely in charge of that product that you're handling. The success of the product is you are the first and most important person to decide on the success of the product.
Do other 3 guys agree? In reality, and it's okay. Be honest, yeah.
But in
I think
certain,
it depends on how big the company is and what kind of a portfolio it has. Probably if it is a small startup or a smaller company with few products and product manager might be doing some of the CEO kind of a things, or it might. And in bigger companies, I don't think it is. CEO is much different. Of course, the P&L and all these things, but I don't think it is. You can call a product manager as a CEO.
The product CEO we have our own boundaries around it.
But are you literally able to make all the decisions like a CEO?
No.
Then how is it
So,
going to
see,
see?
it all depends on the scope of your operation. See, ultimately, a CEO also works in his under certain boundaries, and beyond that, he doesn't have control of things. Now, as a product manager, you within an organization might be responsible also for the product, and even somebody like the CEO of the organizations become the ceiling of your scope. So maybe you have to work with him, but within the scope of a product, you are like a.
That's actually very well articulated point. Actually, the way product manager role has evolved in India, and Pinkesh will have a lot of deeper insights from his own experience in this area. And Pinkesh, feel free to add to this. When I was talking about HCL thing way back in 2001, working on a product in a services company, one fine morning we heard that there's a product manager who has joined. I had no freaking clue what a product manager is supposed to do. I was architect of that product. That product manager never talked to us a single day. He used to come, sit in a queue. He worked there for 6 months in HCL. During that time, I don't know what he used to do. I didn't get a chance to talk to him a single time. And then he left. He left the company because there was no cultural alignment. That's what we heard later on. So product management at that point of time was like a role that was just unknown. What is this guy supposed to do? And as architect, I very vividly remember one of the things I used to talk to various stakeholders in the senior management team was, guys, we are taking so many of these decisions for the people who are going to be using this product. I don't know if they are the right decisions to take or not. I am architect, I am just making some random decisions which are good for me technically, but are they going to be good use of product later or not? I don't know. So we need somebody who is able to make these decisions. I never knew the term product manager, but I used to articulate it this way. So we need somebody who is making decisions on behalf of the users. And at that time we were told, like, you guys make all the decisions, you guys should be the owner of the product, you guys are architecting it and all those things. But in that, all the decisions we used to take were in the interest of architecture. Whatever is easy to implement, whatever is faster to implement, just take the decision that way. We never really took the pulse of the product manager. That was the state of product management role in India way back in 2001 and 2002. Fast forward about 2007, Google had a product manager role which was very well evolved in US, and they were replicating that role in Bangalore. So companies did have a mindset, large companies did have a mindset that there is a function which is like this, which is supposed to be there, but the market was still unaware overall. For example, I still remember the first media quote that went from me was quoted as Alok Goel, project manager of Google says. It was like, was project manager, product manager. So market still did not know about it, but there were a few large companies which were trying to set up this role in India. And then over time, slowly the product management role became more and more popular by way of companies like Microsoft and these kind of companies, where things were like, let's write down specs, let's define what needs to be done and hand over to the engineering, and that was the definition of the product managers. Which was again a limited definition, but that was how sort of it was evolving. And then came the ecosystem of new age startups, which actually truly believed that product managers are the mini CEOs. And it was amazing for me to see when I moved from Google US to Bangalore, when I joined Redbus. One of the reasons I joined Redbus over other companies was that Redbus truly treated product team as the P&L owners. Even though I was the CPO to begin with, I was owning the P&L. And that was what was one of the convincing reasons for me to join that place. Because that place truly understood what the meaning of product manager was. Product managers used to own the P&L. And now what is happening is I'm realizing this is becoming a common a theme across many startups. In sort of the e-commerce world, it is still not largely true. Because in companies like Flipkart, Amazon, Snapdeal, etc., category managers is the role which owns the P&L per se. But in many of the new age startups, which are like Olas of the world, Free Charges of the world, Redbus of the world, GoIbitos of the world, Zomatos of the world, these companies are actually literally treating product manager as the mini CEO. That guy actually owns everything, and when we say that guy actually owns everything, it means a lot. Product manager is a guy who has to be able to do what are the kind of work that is required for getting a product successful. You need engineering, you need marketing, you need PR, you need sales, you need legal, you need partnerships. It's so many things which are all required, and product manager is the guy who is sitting here. He is literally the guy who is dictating all the work, what needs to be done by whom, and he is the guy who is actually responsible for making whatever it takes to get the product right. Somebody made this comment from this side of the room.
Sitting.
Yeah. This is what this guy is supposed to do. This is a very high leverage role. This is a super high leverage role because this guy has to get all the work done by other people. This guy is not really doing work by himself, these pieces of work, but he's getting the work done. But there's one more characteristic which is super important in the product managers, in my view. That guy should be able to do 80% of the quality of the work that anybody else in the team would do. Because there will be amazing, umpteen number of scenarios where you will reach a situation where your team is not complete. Then in that case, how do you do whatever it takes to get the product right? You have to be able to do those things by yourself. You have to be able to write the PR material here, you have to be able to write the right marketing material, go for the sales page, do the partnerships, make sure you are at least basically legally compliant. If not, if you are not super legally compliant, but at least some basic things have been done. So product manager is that kind of a role, and by that virtue it actually really becomes a mini CEO. And while not every company has a realization of that, but there are many companies which are emerging, particularly in the startup world, which are full realization that was product manager is the guy who is supposed to own the P&L, who is supposed to own the business, and by that argument he is supposed to own everything that is being done.
Alok, just a question. So in these companies, do all these verticals reports to the product manager, or is it indirect reporting?
They don't report into this guy, but this guy has a direct ownership on what work has to be done by this guy. 100% ownership.
Look, what's the difference when it comes to technical product manager? Because I don't see technical product manager fits into all these areas.
So technical product manager is a term that I've heard in Amazon, and the way I have come to hear about it or understand this is, technical product manager is a guy who is sort of semi-program manager and writing down the specs and sort of liaising more with the engineers. And there is somebody who is called external product manager who is liaising more with the consumer side or the business side. So product manager role itself is sort of divided into two, which in my view is like dividing your body into half and saying one part is taking care of this, one part is taking care of this, which is not really the right approach in my personal opinion. It may be right, my opinion may be right, my opinion may be wrong. But different companies are sort of structuring it in different ways. Another way to look at the function is sort of in the medical science terminology. Recently, somebody who I know had a major problem, and it was manifesting in multiple symptoms, and that person went to specialist of every symptom, and everybody said, no, there is no problem from my area. Cardiologist said, no problem from my area. Nephrologist said, no problem from my area. Diabetologist said, no problem from my area. It is some other area's problem. And this guy is actually screwed up, right? Where is the problem? But it is his body. He has to get it right. He had to figure out where exactly is the problem by coordinating with all of these guys, because nobody was taking ownership, but this guy had to get things done, whatever it takes. That term is sort of a very appropriate. Whatever it takes. When it is your body, you have to take care of that. Dusra doctor kya bol raha hai, kya karta hai? It's your problem. So that sort of is a mindset of the product manager. And in a startup setting, truly the entrepreneur, the guy who is setting up the startup, is the first product manager. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt about it. When you are setting up a startup, all the decisions that you are making are the decisions that the product manager is making. So the entrepreneur is actually the first product manager of the company. The person, the founder, is the first product manager of the company. And that cannot be avoided. That just cannot be avoided. So this is about the product management function. Second thing I want to talk about is feeling of getting stuck, which is a very common problem. How many of us have had a feeling of getting stuck at some point of time in our life? Now, earlier, pretty much all of us, right? I'm also raising my hand, and I talked about the instances where I felt that I was stuck. And that was the reason I was sort of talking about that story to connect it back now and one more data point of time. But what is the definition of getting stuck? Is it about promotions? Is it about salary hike? What are the views here? Why do you feel, or why do you feel whenever you felt that you're stuck, that you are stuck? Why?
Value creation.
Value creation. What value creation?
You at a certain point you know that you don't know what is project management. You don't know what else to do. How you manage multiple projects, but what you are, it's not really satisfied.
That is like promotions, right? Career growth. Is that right?
No, gratification from the work you're doing.
Work satisfaction.
Work satisfaction.
Anybody else?
Repetitive work, so you are doing the same thing over and over again, so no change in your learning parameter or anything else where you can contribute at a different level.
Tell me one thing. If you launch a startup today and starts doing amazingly well for next 10 years, every year it triples, hypothetically, will you get a feeling of getting stuck for next 10 years? Do you think you will get a feeling of getting stuck? Hypothetical question. But you will still be doing repetitive work, right?
If I am able to execute my ideas, if I am able to execute my ideas and if I fulfill that one, probably.
So I'm basically questioning this this premise that feeling of getting stuck is because you're doing repetitive work. I gave you a scenario where you will be doing repetitive work for next 10 years, but you started doing like 10x or 3x every year, and today you start and say 10 years from now you're like $100 billion company like Google, $250 billion company.
So you're larger than self, right? You're leaving something behind in your current work environment, right? In a bigger corporate environment, you're just a cog in the wheel. You don't see the big picture of what you are doing.
So is not seeing bigger picture the reason of feeling of getting stuck?
What's it contributing? Freedom and autonomy.
Freedom and autonomy.
You feel like you feel that you can do a lot more than what you're currently provided with. So get a feel of getting stuck, or you don't know, you're not satisfied with that kind of thing.
So what is sort of clearly coming out is that different people have different perspectives of feeling of getting stuck. Somebody will say repetitive work, whereas it may generally not be true, because there are scenarios where it will not turn out to be true. Somebody may think not being able to leave legacy is feeling of stuck. Somebody may say not learning new things or decision making abilities, feeling of getting stuck. There is by definition. By definition is, if I plot two things, what is my value for the place where I'm working for the company, let's assume I'm working for a company, and what is my market value, and I plot these two things. Typically what happens is that you start off from some point, you are valued at some level when you join the company. Your value will go up like this. Roughly your value and your value for the market and your value for the company, both charts will go up like this till some point of time. In congruence, they may not go overlapping, but in congruence they will go up. But beyond a point, what I think happens is your value for the company keeps going up or becomes stable after some time, but your value for the market goes down here. And when this gap starts getting created, that in my view creates a feeling of getting stuck. And there are many people that I've talked to Were like, boss, I've been in this company. In fact, many of the people I've had a chance of working with who are still in the services setup, they are like, boss, I kept getting promotions. So today I'm having like 200 people to report to me. I'm earning good salary, but this is the only thing that I can do now. And recently one guy actually called me saying that my company is downsizing because the company is not doing well and I need to look for a different job. And now I need to look for a different job in a different setup, but that setup is sort of not relevant for this guy. So the market value has gone down, but that guy's value for the company kept going up. That's why you kept getting promotions. Till some point of time when you maybe get stuck on the promotion, this is also, or whatever. But this gap is what in my view creates a feeling of getting stuck. And it is very, very important to make sure that boss, you don't get stuck into this gap. And what it basically needs is that you have to be always in an uncomfortable zone. Uncomfortable zone being defined as when you reach this point, you have to hop onto a different path. And every time you hop onto a different path, it will create a discomfort for you. It will create a setup where maybe your next salary is less than your current salary. Maybe you're doing a MBA, which is probably not going to give you a good return in sort of on an immediate ROI basis. That's what you may be. Or you may be an engineer, you may be moving on to a different technology. You may be doing business, but you may be moving into a different part of the business or a different type of business. But every time you move into this kind of a step function, this creates a feeling of discomfort. And being able to live with that feeling of discomfort is super important if we want to remain ahead of the curve. Because one of the other things which in the economics area has been proven, and I was trying to find out more reliable charts for this, which I could not. One of the things that happens is that as disruptions happen, as new technologies come out, as new business models come out, if say this is a steady state all this while, and suddenly a new disruption happens, the value of the people who move to that disruption increases by a step function, but the value of the people who remain on the previous thing remains at this level and over time actually goes down because this becomes a commodity and this becomes the new sexy thing. So people who are stuck, who are remaining onto that previous trajectory or previous path remain at the same level or go down, but the value of the people who have moved on to the new ecosystem goes up. And these step functions are very, very important in life because otherwise you get into this path and hence you get into this kind of a gap. Examples of this are how many times we have seen technologies getting disrupted. 2009, 2010, Android comes out. People who move into Android from any kind of companies, be it TCS, HCL or any other companies, those guys are today earning much more than people who are earning who were their colleagues or peers. People who have been able to move on to the iOS app development, they are earning like $30 an hour, so $40 an hour, $50 an hour. Whereas people who are continuing to work on the previous things are not at that level. And there are like umpteen number of times when you sort of look at the business models, you sort of look at the technologies, the story keeps repeating itself all over again and again.
Even in the healthcare IT space in US, probably because of the various regulations that are in place, I think more than 1,000 startups have formed, bringing their own mobile apps.
And when you are in this zone, you are super comfortable with what you have been doing. You know you're not boss of what you are doing. You know the shit. And when you are moving to something else, that's where it becomes an unknown zone. It becomes a zone where you're learning, you're a student, you're figuring things out. And how many of us would be comfortable in moving from a zone which is our own strong territory to a zone where we are becoming a student or we are figuring things out? It takes balls, it takes guts to do that kind of work. And that's why we, in my view, get stuck.
Can
Can you please support the statement at what point of time the market value of a person goes down in a company?
A very good example of this is people who were working on Y2K way back in 1999. How much valuable those people were in the year of 1998, 1999. Amazingly valuable, right? People were shipped en masse from India to US, making shitloads of money. What happened to people? A very similar thing happened to front end. There's a front end engineering at somewhere time between 2002 to maybe year 2006. Who wanted to be a front end engineer?
But this is because of the technology trends.
That's what I'm saying, right? There are technology trends which come out, there are business model trends which come out, and those things make you obsolete. For example, how many of people who have been working the mainframe technology, who are like great stud people, can go on to become CTOs of some other newest startups? Actually, literally, this sort of being recorded, so I can't too much about this. But there are many areas where people are stud in terms of the technologies, but today you see their resume, and no startup will even come to them for the CTO role. The guy will have like 20 years of experience, amazingly rich experience, but nobody will talk to him because it's all irrelevant experience. 20 साल के बाद में life में irrelevant हो गया.
But how do you really pick up this trend? Because it's kind of an illusionary world that you start to be in because the company's running you, and not just individuals, even big corporates don't realize like what Nokia went to. They didn't think that they'll be vanished from the whole space in few years. So you're talking up because they thought they have the strength, the technical strength, as well as the capability to lead the market. So that could very well translate to an individual in an organization who would think, I'm in the right space, I'm getting valued for what I'm bringing onto the table. So, at times you may just miss the bus.
So that's actually $1 billion question. And if Nokia had an answer to this, they would have survived. And in fact, to be very blunt with you all, this is one worry I have for myself. Right. And it is just true, man. You lose one vote and you're out. One good example, actually, very good example for your case, and to this mobile board that is getting created in India now, this mobile internet ecosystem, has created many companies which have become irrelevant, many people which have become irrelevant. People are amazing in their own caliber in terms of the design skills, in terms of the front-end engineering skills. But today in India, if there is one area which is growing, it is mobile. I am privy to a lot of private numbers of many companies. Every single company in the country is growing on mobile internet. No company is seeing growth on the desktop internet. So all the companies are investing their entire marketing muscle, their entire engineering muscle, their entire sort of management focus, almost entire company bandwidth into the mobile areas. It is creating a lot of people who are becoming redundant. Not only from engineering viewpoint, product managers. Product managers who are not exposed to the mobile ecosystem will find it incredibly hard to move to the mobile ecosystem. Because the style of doing things, the thought process is completely different. How will they move? Suddenly overnight, and people will not give chance to those people.
But then their company value is also getting down.
Company is doing a business, right? That guy's value in the mind of company is not going down. That guy, so a company is not seeing huge growth on desktop, they are seeing huge growth on mobile, but they are not abandoning desktop, right? Company is getting, say, whatever X number of transactions on desktop, they are still getting it. And hence the value of that guy in the company's mind is not going down. It may be becoming stagnant. That part I can buy, but it is not going down. And this is a very beautiful example of how this gap is getting created.
So let's say if you miss the bus, then like any other company, like for example Apple, when they miss the bus during the personal computing era, they waited for the next wave to happen where they can create a level playing field, or they being the pioneer. So as a professional, do you look for new ways where there's already not a huge pile of experience or competitive advantage that your peers have over you, and you try to latch on to it to probably get back into the game in whatever new game?
Yeah, I'll be very honest here. I don't think I'm an expert at that. There was one wave that there was one step function that I made in terms of this technology area, which was from desktop to mobile, which happened by means of me being at the right place and being fortunate. I was at Google and I got a chance to lead Google's mobile strategy for India. So I ended up building a lot of mobile learnings over that time. So when I moved from Google to Redbus, that learning came a lot in handy, and I was able to create a mobile strategy for Redbus, and that company is seeing amazing growth on mobile. So I could make one transition by way of chance, by way of just happening. But I don't know how many times these things will happen. Right now it looks like mobile is going to be here for another some time. But another wave that I'm sort of seeing is this whole hardware-based ecosystems which are getting created. And I'm honestly speaking pretty irrelevant for that ecosystem. Can I create a hardware-based system for hands and tracking your health and those kind of things? I cannot do it. And there are a lot of startups which are emerging in that space today, right? There are startups which are doing like smart energy meter monitoring and those kind of things. I don't even have a thought process. If tomorrow morning I start thinking about how to solve that problem, I can't even figure out step one for that problem. So there are all these risks which are always possible, but being mindful of this thing is a super important thing. Because there are always opportunities, at least एक बार तो opportunity मिलता है. And many of the times what I feel is, it may be sort of a wrong thing to think, is maybe we have to take a demotion. Sometimes. And it's fine to take a demotion in the short term because you're at least hopping on to a next trajectory, right? Which is going to let you go further. But if you're sort of stuck that boss, abhi to meri itni salary hai, how the hell I can go to a lesser salary? Then it is a super complicated thing. I met a guy sometime back, maybe 3-4 months back. He is in a services company, wants to become a product manager in a startup setting. He came to me for guidance on how he can make a transition and why should a startup give him a chance, etc., etc. I told him that one of the ways you can get a chance into a startup is go to a small startup. There the startup is so desperate, so hungry that you can do really everything or anything and nobody will say no to you. So you can actually make a transition to a product management in that startup, early stage startup setting. The guy will not pay you that much, but he will naturally make a transition. This was one of the possible ways that I recommended to that guy. Sir, yeah, right now I'm earning like 35 lakh rupees, I can't move to a startup. That guy made a trade-off. Now it is difficult to disrespect that trade-off because he had some obligations in life. But maybe in long term, if he had made that trade-off, after 2 years, if I was paying like shitloads of salaries for product managers, maybe it could have worked out. I don't know. It's just a view, just a perspective. So this is about the feeling of getting stuck.
Alok, one more question. Do you have any good news for people in terms of the general management skills which are probably time irrelevant, or the skills that you build in that area probably may survive waves or generations? Any suggestions?
Yeah, there were general management. My perspective may be completely wrong there, but let me still go ahead and share it. Who is a general manager? General manager is a guy who is handling a huge organization. And typically a services, IT services setup, because that is a setup that I'm more familiar with instead of being the classical like refineries and manufacturing. I'm not exposed to that setup, so I can't make those insights. But in the IT services setup, a general manager is a guy who is having like 5,000 people working for him. If you sort of look at it, what is the value addition of this guy? This guy is basically managing 5,000 people. The people problem of these people. Just that the organization is running well, just that replacement is happening, churn is being managed, etc. etc. That's what this guy is doing. He's not adding any other value to. The value creators are these 5,000 people. Actually, not even 5,000 people, but maybe people 2 levels down are the guys who are really creating value. People who are actually doing coding, people who are actually making decisions, people who are actually churning or creating revenue for the company. What happens is that this guy is basically taking $2 out of each guy, and that is contributing to this guy's salary. So $5,000, 5,000 people working, $2 being extracted out of every guy of that organization is resulting in $10,000 worth of salary for this guy. But this guy can grow his salary only by way of expanding either this or this. So this guy has to figure out a way of adding more value. If you continue to remain in this trap, you cannot make more value here because you have to grow it from 5,000 to 10,000, or you have to snatch more money from your people, which is pretty difficult because you are screwing the other guy. So this guy has to figure out creating value by himself. And if you look at the places where this value goes up tremendously, invariably these people are adding their own value to the system. They are doing their own work. They are making decisions which are crucial for the outcome of the business, which is why being on the client side ends up being a better scenario, right? Because on the client side, you are actually making these decisions which are for the business. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Look, in organizations, usually we hear the term grow leaders.
Pro leaders.
Grow the leaders within the organization. Like they'll be having that agenda, like grow the leaders from one level to another level, put them 10 or 20 guys under them. So it's more of at the leadership level where they think. But do they talk on the leadership being a product company? Nobody tells that grow the product leaders. So what? Because in certain cases, like I've seen certain organizations where it's more of like the one what you told, like doing the people management or the project management. Though we work for a product or a complex solutions, we don't quite often hear that what will be my next level when I talk on the solution space or on the product space. It ultimately drills down to the people management kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that is an organization problem. That I don't mean the organization problem. That is the necessity or the need of the organization. I'll give you an example. If a company is like 1 lakh people, and they have to have 20,000 people being recruited at the entry level every year just to keep the same rate of number of people because attrition is say 20%. They have to get enough number of TS, they have to get enough number of PS, they have to get enough number of managers, they have to get enough number of GMs, etc. All of that cannot be replaced from outside world. There are not enough people. Which is why these organizations end up creating a scenario where let's grow these people internally, let's groom these people internally, and given the volume they have, they're able to grow it. If you go to the other side, the product side, the market itself has been so small that no company has been able to afford grooming these leaders internally. If a company needs only 2 product managers, where will they groom these 2 product managers? And nobody has capacity or a patience to wait for a year to groom these leaders. Hence, they always go and look for lateral replacements. However, the larger of the companies now, for example, Flipkarts of the world, are actually now spending time to groom the product leaders because they are now big enough in size. They have enough number of entry-level product guys coming in from MBA institutes, etc., who are aspiring to be product managers, and hence they are able to spend time in grooming these guys. So there are companies which are now reaching the stage of large cycle, large stage companies which have capacity and patience to wait for a year to groom the product leaders internally. So I think that is more of a need of the organization than anything else, what you said. So I know I didn't realize I'll be talking this much. I'm running out of time, so let me quickly move on to the third part, which is the entrepreneurial spirit. What do we think is the number one entrepreneurial spirit? What do we think is the number one trait for the entrepreneurial spirit?
Taking the risks.
Taking the risks.
Always uncomfortable with status quo.
Say that again.
Always uncomfortable with status quo.
Uncomfortable.
Flashing on the gaps of
Passion.
optimistic. Working on gaps.
Passion. Working on gaps.
Gaps in society. Optimistic.
Optimistic.
Negotiation.
Negotiator.
Continuous growth.
Continuous growth.
Spot an opportunity.
Say that again.
So the ability to see opportunities.
Seeing opportunities. All of these are true. Ownership. All of these are true. If I were to put my tick mark, you actually stole the whole, this is this, taking risk. There's a very, very beautiful book by a guy called Daniel Kahneman called Thinking Fast and Slow. Daniel Kahneman is a Nobel laureate in the behavioral economics area. Behavioral economics area says that we don't think when we do things, we do things out of our own intuitions, which are many of the times are wrong. And that book is a very, very long explanation of various parts of our behaviors, how we manage life, how we live life. There is a very beautiful thing given in that book, which is, let's say we play a game. We play a game that we'll toss a coin. Tossing a coin will means 50% probability of heads, 50% probability of tails. You have two choices now. One is you either take 100 rupees from me right now, or you play this game with me. If you win the game, you get 300 rupees. If you don't win the game, you don't get anything. Just to say it again, one option is you straight away take 100 rupees from me without playing the game at all, and you walk home. Or you play the game with me, and if you win, you get 300 rupees. If you don't win, you get nothing. So the expected value is 50% probability of 300 is 150 rupees is the expected value. So expected value is better. How many of you would like to play this game? Or how many of you would just take 100 rupees straight and go home? Only two. Rest all will play this game. How many of you will play this game? It is phenomenal. Because about 80% of people actually make the other decision other way. They don't play this game. Because taking 100 rupees right now in the pocket makes so much more sense than like playing a stupid game when they don't make anything.
But the situation changes, the stake is higher.
So yes, so the probability will change with the stake. If I give like 10,000 rupees with 20% probability, more people will play. But in the 50% probability and 300 rupees, I didn't expect these many people to be playing that game. And that is normally what happens in a natural scenario. But if we were to play that game every day for next 1 year, should we play that game every day for next 1 year or no? So one option now becomes, sorry, I didn't say it properly, let me say it again. So now the game becomes, we'll play this game every day for next 1 year. You have to make a choice now. Either you keep taking 100 rupees every day from me for next 365 days, or you play with this game with me every day for next 365 days. And every day the game is same, 50% probability, winning is 300 rupees, losing is 0.
For half the time, play the game. For half of the time, take 100 rupees.
You can do that. You have only two choices. This is the game. This is the game. You only make. Actually, that's very interesting that you are saying this. Can I flash my PDF? So right before coming here, I played this game on Microsoft Excel and created both the scenarios. What if we play this game? What if we don't play this game? And unfortunately, I didn't realize 365. I just did it for 42 days, all the working days of a month. On the bottom right hand. What? Sorry? Can you just scroll down to the bottom? So this is basically whether you're one is you're winning, 0 is you're losing. This is the guy who picks to play the game. This is the guy who picks to not play the game. At the end of 22 days, obviously this guy will make 2,200 rupees, but this guy actually makes 3,300 rupees. 50% more than the other guy, right? But actually, if we see in real life, we get to play this game every day, multiple times a day. Because life keeps throwing questions to us where we are supposed to take decisions. Those are risky decisions. Those decisions may lead to a better outcome or may not lead to any outcome. But there's always a smaller outcome which is more beneficial in the short run. when we are always thrown these choices every day, multiple times a day, for years in our life. And imagine if you are playing this game for years, how much will be the gap between the guy who is playing this game versus the guy who is not playing this game. So in that book, Daniel Kahneman says, and a statement that I just totally struck me, if there is one thing that I wish God gives my kids, it is willingness to play this game. And that is so damn true, right? Because if you are playing this game every day in life, you are actually bound to become so much better. But then why do we keep taking decisions which are suboptimal and we don't play this game? Every time we are going for the small little game right now, a bird in hand is better than doing the bush thing. Why? And that is what plays a key role in our overall outcome in life. Questions like, should I continue to grow linearly in the current company or learn something new? Go to a different company. We talked about this sometime back in the discussion, right? If you're growing well, how do you make a decision, etc., etc. Isn't that this question? And when I was talking about my entire journey, I talked about move from HCL to Adobe. This was exactly the question I was answering at that time. Should I continue to grow? I was doing very well there. It was not that I was suffocating or I was not getting promotions. I was getting a lot of love and respect from management. Should I continue here or I should move to product setting, learn how products are built? Because that is probably going to be the new future, that is probably going to be the future. And of course it made me a lot of discomfort feeling because I was learning completely new things. It was amazingly discomfort feeling. Should you do this MBA course or you should not do this MBA course? You guys asked this question. And you made a choice to actually do this course. Even if you are working in a company, many of the times you think, yeah, let's take this project, this is an easy to do project, guaranteed success. So you go to your manager and say, boss, give me this project, this is fine for me. Or I'm doing some project, I'm already expert at it, let me continue working on this project, not take a new project which is coming out in the company. Or, should you leave your job and do a startup? You all have an aspiration of being an entrepreneur. I was told so.
That's what everybody wrote in admission form.
So, leaving the job, doing a startup, yes, there's good probability you're not getting anything, but if you're confident, if you're thinking hard, if you're able to think deep enough, why will you not be able to get a good outcome? And if you fail, will you not be able to come back to the same setting at least? These are the kind of questions which our life keeps throwing to us all the time, and choice is ours. So in the end, this whole entrepreneurial spirit or this whole entrepreneurial thing, in my view, is only about one thing, is risk taking. Everything else is other things. Like you have to have a good people management skill, you have to have good convincing skill. All those things are required everywhere else. But this trait is what differentiates an entrepreneur from rest of the people. You have to be a good salesman, man. If you're doing work for a company in sales department, you have to be a better salesman. If you are working in a company, you have to be able to find gaps for that company also. You have to be an optimist, negotiator. If you are in sales or partnership or any of these ones, you have to be a good negotiator for the company. You have to be a continuous growth. All these things are fine, but this risk taking is what differentiates an entrepreneur from other guys. And actually, it doesn't mean that you only do a startup. These risks can be taken in various other ways also. And it's generally they are rewarding. If you sort of reflect back in life, how many times you took risk, just do sort of an introspection for just 5 minutes, sort of reflect back on your life. Whenever you took risk, did you get reward or you actually suffered a lot? Just sort of think about it. List on like 5-10 times when you are able to recollect you took risk. You realize that more often than not you got reward. So it was probably the right thing for you. On your part, you have taken risk at that time. That's what I had to say.
Shouldn't that be rephrased as taking calculated risks?
Say that again?
Instead of saying taking risks, shouldn't that be rephrased as taking calculated risks?
Yeah, there is a whole new concept of that. I can talk about it, but just to very, very quickly talk about it. The risk that I talk about is only a risk where you either gain or you don't gain anything, right? You either gain 300 rupees or you gain 0. But there is another type of a risk, which is that you either gain or you lose. Then it becomes super complicated, right? Because now you are talking about gain versus loss, and what do you do in that case? So that is one of there are concepts there where in life you can sort of cut down the losses, make the chart like this. So instead of having infinite loss and infinite gain, you have infinite gain and infinite loss. There are concepts around this area as well, but that's probably an hour in itself.
Is it on the you were saying that risk taking is a big difference between entrepreneurship and what is required in a regular established corporate? I would just like to add that in a regular established enterprise or a corporate, you will have more resources at your disposal as opposed to being an entrepreneur where you have to work under resource constrained environments, and the impact of your work will be that much slower to reach the people as opposed to having the same thing executed in a larger organization which has better reach to the market.
That is fair point, but at the same time there is another sort of ecosystem also around you, right? So what ends up happening in a large setup is that you have a company. The company is run at the top by very, very few people, and then there is a middle management, and there is a lower sort of people who are just entering into the workforce, who are passionate, who have got a lot of exciting things in their vision that they want to do. What happens in large companies is that this layer is the layer which started the company generally, right? They are the ones who are accountable to shareholders. They are the ones who are who know that risk taking is the right thing to do. So what I have generally seen is that in these large setups, this layer is the layer which loves to take risk. It's fine to take risk. They are generally going to be okay in using the big project by leveraging organization resources. This layer also wants to take risk because they are very, very new into the system. They are just starting their journey, career, and they want to do big things anyways. But what ends up happening is that this layer, the middle layer, is the layer which ends up being very, very risk averse. And it ends up being a layer which disconnects the top layer from the bottom layer and starts getting problems with the organization growth, organization pace. So in pretty much all the large setups, what I personally observe is that this middle layer is what creates the problem in the growth rate of these companies. Not the top layer, not the bottom layer. Top layer always boss, go and do this crazy thing. You're fine, you take like 10 engineers. You want a $50 billion company, it doesn't matter if you're taking 10 engineers. But it's the middle layer will say that boss, this project is owned by me, and what if this fails? I'm not going to get a promotion, so let's make sure that it is going to work. And that make sure it is going to work is basically what makes you take a choice of 100 rupees today versus 300 rupees at 50% profit. Sorry, I took too much time. I think I'm overshot time by about 10 minutes. Please go ahead.
Here in the entire program we referred of growing entrepreneurs, right? So what if I do the MBA course and if I want to execute the ideas and the learnings within my current organization, how do I keep that one? Because most of the time we often see that, okay, even though you have an idea, since you are not with that background, probably there might not be management giving time to listen to your ideas.
Would you mind saying it one more time? I missed you.
Okay, so in the entire program we refer growing entrepreneurs with the MBA course. As you might do the MBA course now, and I don't want to become an entrepreneur, but I want to put in my learnings and the experience within my current organization. So will there be any kind of a guidance on how I can better showcase or present my learnings to the organization?
Yeah, there are many things that you can in general do. Life in a large setup requires many things. It requires appropriately managing political setting within the company. It requires appropriate style of presentation / communication / convincing. which borderlines onto the negotiating part. It requires you to be able to present your thoughts in a structured manner with all kind of research and thought process done, etc., etc. Once you do these kind of courses, you get right kind of tools, and you're able to do this work in a better manner. And in fact, I also genuinely think that doing MBA after a lot of years of experience rather than 1 or 2 years of experience is the right thing to do, because you generally realize what are the real life work problems. For example, I did MBA after 7 years, right? I just mentioned. There was a course in MBA which was about behavioral economics. And I didn't understand anything about that course. But today I realize that that course was the most important course of that MBA program. And I am actually thinking of talking, maybe I should go and teach that course in my college. Because I feel so bad that I didn't learn anything from that course. Those are the kind of tools which play a role in your longer term life, and MBA is going to give you this tool set. Years from now, you'll realize, yeah, Professor Pinkesh ने क्या पढ़ाया था? 5 Cs पढ़ाए थे. How do I deploy those 5 Cs in this scenario? There are amazing examples which come out of life, and you'll be better equipped to handle those scenarios. Just have a better thought process. That's it, and that itself is going to make you a better person.
Yeah, look,
sorry guys, I think I'm taking up too much time. I can hang around for a few more minutes for offline conversation. I don't want to make everyone sit and get a lot of abuses that guys just screwed us on the evening.
Look, I have just one question to you. You can end with as CEO, how does your day go? Can you just tell us?
Yeah, there is no one style in which the day goes. It sort of changes dramatically. When there's fundraise going on, it's all the time goes into talking to people and showing what we are doing. More often than not, I try to spend more time in office because I think my time is better spent with my team rather than anywhere else. So I try to avoid travel, and I try to spend time in office, talking to people, hearing what they are trying to do, hearing problems, people problems, sharing the vision. Are we doing the right thing? Are we not doing the right thing? Those kind of things. So there is no one sort of way in which the day goes all the time. Thank you guys. I'll just hang around here for a few more minutes. Thank you so much.
So you just heard Alok saying that, and this was just a trailer. So we have a PLF forum happening. Goel, you want to add something to it?
Thank you, Alok. Hi guys. My name is Goel. I'm currently doing the executive MBA program in product leadership. So we are launching the Product Leaders Forum, right? It's all happening on February 17th to 20th. It's an awesome conference, whatever you heard, right, from Alok. Alok is going to be one of the session speakers on the conference. What you got is just a glimpse of it. You'll get an opportunity to hear more from Alok and people with Alok's background. We're talking about product management in MNCs and product management in Indian companies, Flipkart, right? Sharon Chatterjee will be there. I'm talking about, if you're thinking about, hey, I'm getting stuck, where am I going to go next? You want to get a feel for what's coming up next, like mobile space that Alok talked about, or data science. Dr. Murthy, awesome person, he's actually a rocket scientist. He's going to be there talking about data science, right? And about multiple generations, working with multiple generations. How do you influence? How do you connect? How do you communicate? Dr. Pallab is going to be there. Awesome conference. It's a non-profit, volunteer-driven conference. If you look at it, if you're thinking about in the product leadership mini CEO, this is the first time you're launching this conference in India. It is actually being launched as a product, right, in India. And if you're interested in experiencing more about what does it take to be a product leader, launching it and experiencing it real time, first hand, what channels are working, things along those lines. Happy to chat more about the Executive MBA program, what IPL is offering. Anup is here, so on the PLF, Kiran is here, Manish is there, Sushma is there. We can share with you more details. And if you are willing to, if you are ready to sign up, please walk over here. I can register it for you. All you need is have your credit card.
Thank you. Time is ticking away. You will see one more second thing.
All right. So just 2 minutes here. Quick introduction. introduction, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Rahul Abhyankar. I'm Director of Programs and Faculty for the Institute. I'm really glad to be visiting here this week and hear Alok speak. So, Alok, thanks a lot for being very gracious with your time, certainly, but sharing your experiences and insights from your rich journey. And I learned a lot, and I know, all of you learned it as well. I'd like to request Professor Shah to come up and just have a token of appreciation for Alok.
Thanks a lot.
And for those of you who raised your hands, Alok will be outside playing the game, so feel free to take him up on that. Just enjoy some.
With how many crores? With how many crores?
202.6 crore.
All right, thank you.
Hey, a quick address. I think it's an opportunity for us to not only host Alok, which is very privileged. But today is also a very special day. Out of many other days that happens here at the campus. Today we have about 3 batches that are kind of intersecting and meeting here today. So I want to first make sure the class of 2014, which is the host for these events, maybe raise your hand or just stand up wherever you are. Guys who all make this happen. The PLF conference that you mentioned, that Google talks about is really the gang primarily here. We also have the next class of 2015. I see some faces, so if you can kind of stand up wherever you are. So that's the next gang. And then the third batch, which actually coincidentally just kicked off yesterday, is the ICPM program, and I see some people from out of town as well as from Bangalore also here. So if you can kind of get up wherever you are, so we can get up. Wow, look at that in culture good.
They have to earn it.
They have to earn it, that's right. So truly appreciate all of you coming over here, and I think more importantly, it's very. I think it's not the first time Alok has spoken at IPL, but every time he brings a very interesting perspective that all of us can really learn from. And this is the value of meeting with, talking to, engaging with practitioners. You actually kind of get a ground feel of what's happening around, which is a lot more vivid, a lot more dimensions than what you will see and read. So truly appreciate the time. I know there are many things that you have to do, and your time contribution there is truly appreciated. So thank you.
Okay, so we have the networking system outside.
I just closed.
You heard me. Thank you.